a documentary filmmaker, and today we are here watching as the USS Kidd is lowered into the water. It's been a fun process documenting each and every part of this restoration to this ship. We've had a lot of great volunteers and people giving up their time to document everything that's happening. The ship's very important to me and important to a lot of people because we're losing a lot of our World War II vets. Within a couple of years, we won't have any left, and this ship will be the gatekeeper of our history, you know. And she's been restored very beautifully, and it's really cool to see her go back in the water. So we have 9 cameras right now, including a drone filming.
Can you walk us through all the cameras?
Yeah, so right here we have a tight angle of different parts of the ship going into the water.
Pretty big ones.
Yeah, so we're pretty tight. We saw the propeller actually find its way into the water. We have a little bit of a wider shot over here. We have a time lapse happening over here. A time lapse happening in the woods over there. We have a time lapse. What would you call these on the sides? The towers, or
on the walls.
The walls. Yeah. So we have one on the wall, and then we have one right in front of the ship, on the ground.
And there's one on the ship.
There's one on the ship as well. So if we can't do it with 9 cameras, we shouldn't be doing it. Do you need me to keep talking while I'm over here? Okay, cool.
We also have.
Yeah, so here we go. Parks. Oh, great. There you go.
Well, let me walk you through my cameras. I'm carrying a Super 8, state of the art.
You're no experts.
And yeah, like I said, after 14 months high and dry in the dry dock, she's in the water again. And hopefully, unlike when we brought her here and she was leaking like a sieve, she's watertight right now and will remain so for quite some time. We've made her, the shipyard has actually made her more resistant to water intrusion than she was originally. It's a riveted hull largely with some welding, and they not only have cropped out the bad parts and clad welded over the not so bad parts, but they have also welded over the riveted seams and some of the rivets to make sure that they stay watertight for as long as we can predict. The intention is to keep the ship with us as long as possible. It's been 60 years since her last overhaul, and so we expect with the work that's been done here, she'll last another 40 to 60 years without an overhaul. And this is important because things are getting more expensive. There isn't money available to do this very often. And in fact, the Historic Naval Ships Association predicts that within the next 20 years, we could lose half of the existing museum ship fleet here in the U.S. Now, everybody's bemoaned the loss of the SS United States, the liner that was taken down to Florida and is going to be sunk as an artificial reef. But pretty soon, other ships are going to fall out as well, possibly aircraft carriers, possibly battleships, some of our fellow destroyers, destroyer escorts, so the whole gamut. So it's Kidd getting this work done now is very important to her survival, and she will get through this period of rising repair rates and rising dock costs, rising insurance costs, all these things that are fatal to a museum ship. So Well, I'm not just looking at this one ship being saved. I'm looking at the history that she represents and will continue to represent for the foreseeable future. Is that enough?
I want to grab his mic back.
Yes.
Parks. Everybody, hello. This is Molly. I am behind the camera, and we are coming over to see Hunter, who's flying our drone today. Hey, Hunter.
Drone cinematographer.
So, got
So I'm flying my Mavic 4 today, and been working with the USS KIDD for about 5 years now, and yeah, just getting some aerial shots for the documentary and helping out.
Can I take a look on your screen?
Yeah.
Let's see.
So
Oh, wow.
here's a shot of the bow.
That's awesome. That is a good shot right there. Sure, we'll be seeing that
Yeah.
in the documentary. Come.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hunter.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Brandon, back to you.
Hey, it's back to me. So, yeah.
So when is the documentary going to be out?
That's a great question. Since we're doing this, basically no funding, hopefully the ideal would be to be able to finish it and showcase it somewhere. That would be maybe a fundraiser for the kid. You know, maybe different tiers of tickets, maybe like at the manship or something like that. But ultimately, it would have been nice to have something done whenever she comes home. But I think now, as the process has been going on, it's going to be nice to finish it completely, have her back home and back in the cradle. So this is just one of maybe the last 3 steps. We'll get her going back into the Gulf and back upriver, and then when she's placed back in the cradle, and we'll have a full telling of her story.
So I'm going to get in the comments here. You want to grab the mic?
No, not at all.
So I'm going in the comments here. Anna Thomas asked, is the doc just about the dry docking?
That's a great question. Everyone who works at the museum has done a really, really great job of capturing the process from prep to where we are now. The doc really is more of the journey of the kid, a brief on her history in the war, and then really her telling of calling Baton Rouge home and why she's so important to Baton Rouge and why she's so important to keep and preserve and to continue the legacy in Baton Rouge. So really it's more like the legacy of Kid or the journey of Kid, because there's a lot of documentaries on World War II, and although I'm a big fan of them, I think this is more specific of her journey, calling Baton Rouge home. So,
On Baton Rouge.
calling Baton Rouge.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah.
Okay, going in some of these comments here, I see y'all are asking a lot of questions. Is Tim stuck on the ship? Pretty much. Yeah. So Tim is the inspector today. So the reason this is going to take a while because they have to lower it, and stop every so often to inspect the welds that they have done in dry dock. So since Tim has infinite knowledge of the ship, almost, he's going in all those voids and villages and tanks and crawl spaces.
Leading the yard.
Okay, he's leading the yard teams and doing this. They're doing the inspecting, but he's helping them out. So Tim is on the ship. We will be hearing from him later, I hope. He's going to be doing some live streams as well. So yeah. Let's see. Anybody else have questions or comments or concerns? Let's see. When will she be opened for tours? Rough estimate.
Well, you want after we get her into the water, we're then now at the mercy of the river for scheduling. The river has to get high enough to return her to her cradle in Baton Rouge. That's going to be in the springtime. The city is preparing they wanted to prepare a welcome home party, but since we're subject to the river schedule, that couldn't be planned well enough in advance. So now they're going to plan to hold a grand opening party on Memorial Day weekend of 2026. And the odds are that we will be back in the cradle and open for tours in time for that. So that's our current plan.
Cool. Thank you. And thank you for the question, Dixie May. Another question, is she floating yet? I would say no. She's probably still in her little, on the blocks. Yeah. So looking at those numbers there, Parks, where do you think she's going to end up?
I don't know what you mean.
Like the numbers, the 9876 on the stern. Where do you think the water will be when she's actually floating?
I actually don't know, and the reason why I don't know is because she hasn't been ballasted. We had her ballasted back in Baton Rouge, and I can tell you the numbers then, and for the tow up here. But going into the water now, she has not been properly ballasted, and that's going to be something that's going to be taken care of after this evolution. So where the numbers are going to end up today, I don't know. She's going to be sitting higher, and she's probably going to have a port heel of about a couple 3 degrees or so is what I expect. But we still have to determine exactly how to balance her with the work being done, with the material cut off the ship, with some general reconfiguration. This has all got to be worked out. And that's going to be done here in the shipyard before she's towed back to Baton Rouge.
Okay. Awesome. That actually leads to another question. Dixie May asked, where and what will she be doing until then? That's a long time to just sit in the river. Yes. So basically, what all are they going to be doing in the shipyard until she gets back?
There's not much that we can do. We had a plan or a desire to go ahead and repopulate the ship with their historical artifacts, and basically get the tour routes up and populate it again. But we don't have the budget right now to split our staff between the museum up in Baton Rouge and the ship here. It's a 2-hour drive with travel expenses, all like that. Basically, the logistics were we can't do much. So what we're going to concentrate on while she's here is we're going to send small parties down to paint some of the interior spaces and to rig up the racks, the sleeping racks in the ship, so that we can get the overnight program, staying aboard overnight, going again. That's one of our most important revenue streams. And for that, we're also going to do a fundraiser for mattresses. We took the mattresses off of here, and they are pretty rank. Yes. So we're going to be going on a major fundraising drive to, I think they're about $35 for a prison mattress.
That's not bad.
And we are going to get prison mattresses because those things are just about indestructible, which is what we need. They're not Select Comforts, but they'll do. So anyway, that's the intention right now, is to paint some of the spaces and restore the racks. And as soon as she gets back to Baton Rouge, we'll have to put all out effort to repopulate her. And once we allow people coming on board, we can get more budget, we can hire more staff, and that, of course, will speed up the restoration process even more. So when we first open her in Baton Rouge, we may not have her fully open with the full tour that we had before we left. We may have only a main deck tour set up originally, but we'll see. It's all up in the air. And of course, we continue our fundraising efforts. The more money that we get, the more people I can hire, contract labor I can hire, and we can get the ship brought back up to speed quicker.
Awesome. Yeah, that should be fun. Okay, another question from Anna Thomas, 8265. How does the refloating work? The lowering part of it. So I think I can take this one. If you see those walls right there, they're pumping water into the walls so that it will sink.
Well, she's sitting on a dock. She's sitting on a floating dock. Okay. Okay. You can't really see it right now, but Kidd is actually sitting on a floating dock that has two sides. That's what Molly referred to as the walls. We sank the dock, and that was done a little bit earlier this morning, up to a level, and they can control the sinking of the dock. They've got it paused right now. They've paused the sinking of the dock. And Kidd is still sitting on the dock, on her keel blocks under the water. She's not floating free yet, but they've taken a pause. They're checking for leaks, and after they give the go-ahead, they're going to sink the dock more. And eventually the dock is going to sink out from underneath the ship, and then the ship will float free.
Thank you, Parks, for that explanation. We do have a video on our channel about how Hey folks, I think our audio cut out for a minute there. Shout out to my mom for telling me that it did. So we're back with the refloating of the USS Kidd. I'm not sure where we left you at when we were talking, but we were just talking about how Getting the kid back to Baton Rouge is going to take longer than it took to get her here. It took 3 days to get here, and that was when we were going downriver. But going back, since we'll be going upriver, it's going to take 4 to 5 days. Tim will be riding on the ship for sure. See how he enjoys that. Let's see. Going back in your comments here, Aaron Mintz says, I had to convince my mom that I want a rivet for Christmas. She says it's a piece of metal. I said, bones are a piece of metal. Yeah, and what do you think? I definitely think getting a rivet is a good purchase.
It's pre-atomic steel.
Oh, Mark says it's pre-atomic steel.
Yeah,
What
any
is
steel,
pre-atomic?
any steel forged before the atomic bombs went off, do not have. They're called low background steel. When they were making the steel, some of the atomic particles from the atmosphere would get into the steel, and for years you couldn't use steel made after 1945 for delicate measuring instruments like medical or radiation monitoring instruments. So there was a huge market for any steel made before 1945. KIDD, of course, was built in 1943, so everything that we've cut off of her is what's called pre-atomic steel. So if that helps the argument on buying a rivet, there you go.
Okay, Dixie May again with questions. The museum itself is still open, correct? Yes, the museum is open for tours 7 days a week, 9:30 to 3:30. Yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of helicopters flying over today. Let's see. I'm not sure the second part of your question. Y'all will be ordering any special Zippos for the reopening. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's a lighter. No, we don't have any plans for that. That requires an investment, and right now, with the ship having been gone for almost 2 years by the time she gets back, we are just operating on the skin of our teeth with minimal budget. So that's a great idea. I'd love to do it, but I don't have the money to purchase the Zippos to sell.
So buy your rivets, people. Okay, Sterling Hunter 9651 asked, did we miss the refloating? No, it's still going on. I know it looks pretty far on the water there, but she still has a ways to go. They've paused the refloating right now to inspect the welds, make sure that everything is sealed up. So we'll be out here for several more hours. And if you weren't on earlier, we're going to have some live streams from Tim at some point. He's on the ship, so we'll be hearing from him later.
You get a live stream from Tim. He's finished his inspection, so that'll be an indication right there.
Yeah. Okay, Cindy Knight asks, is the kid leaving out today? If so, what time? Not today, so they're going to be removing her from this dry dock, but she will remain at this Thomas C. shipyard for several more months until the river gets high enough to move her down to Baton Rouge. So she will remain in the shipyard for quite some time. Sorry guys for the audio.
Right where you are.
Okay, so it seems that the audio cut out right when we were explaining the how the refloating works with this dry dock. So I can touch on that again. Sorry about that, guys. So if you see these structures on the sides of the ship, those are the walls of the dry dock that the kid was resting on the blocks. So they pump those full of the water, which will lower the whole dock. And then once that's low enough, these tugs over here will come in and pull the kid out of the dock. And then they're going to raise the dock again by pumping the water out. And then that process goes on to get the next ship in there. We do have a video on our channel about how floating dry docks work, which was shot when the kid went into dry dock back in last August. No, was it last August? Yeah, August of 2024. So you can check that out.
Turn this off for now.
Where do you buy the rivets? Okay, Cindy Knight's asking, where do you buy the rivets? Parks, can people buy rivets online, or do they have to go to the museum?
We just finally got a new system where we can sell things online now. So if you cannot make it to the museum in Baton Rouge, they can be ordered online at USSKIDD.com. Of course, KIDD is spelled with 2 D's, and go to the shop. Yes.
In case you didn't know. Cool. Thank you, Parks. What? Hey, Buffalo Naval Park is joined.
Oh boy.
Hey, y'all. They said, well done, everyone. Looks great at the waterline. USS the Sullivan's up next.
Okay,
hopefully.
well, from one Stevenson to another, this is what you do with your Fletcher. I expect you to do yours next year. Okay, that's enough of that.
Okay. Hi, Shane. Cool. Okay. Okay, we have a question about the USS KIDD on World of Warships Legends. I am not familiar with that. I don't play that, but if y'all play it, please chime in the comments. Has the KIDD always been in it, or is that a new thing? Yeah. So Shane Stevenson from the Buffalo Naval Park came in March, this March, to take a visit. They're planning to take the Sullivans and I think their submarine into dry dock soon. So Shane and Tim spent a lot of time. Tim, getting knowledge from Tim about what he would do differently. So that Shane has an easier time. And we enjoyed the visit. Enjoyed showing them around Homa. Beautiful Homa. Kathleen Peacock. You said your husband is on one of these tugs? That's cool. Tell him to leave. Yeah. Okay, Sterling Hunter, I see your question about the officer package. Interestingly enough, God had different plans for me, and I decided not to go to the Navy because the USS KIDD, while I was working there, they put me onto working on their YouTube channel. So I got back into video production. So now I am a video producer full time. So God has different plans for everybody, and I'm very grateful for the USS KIDD for putting me on my career path. Okay, Aaron Mintz, I see your question. I'm working on a new art portfolio because I'm planning to go back for my master in history. I want to make art of the USS KIDD. Oh. Yeah, that would be great. I'm sure the museum would really appreciate that. If you had some art to donate, that would be awesome. Another chopper. Alrighty. Y'all, thank you so much for joining. I think we're going to take a little break and hopefully come back live when Tim is free, as I for sure want to see his perspective on the ship. Is Tim setting alarms? Tim is not at the moment. They do have an alarm set up, but I guess we mean alarms for pumps. I'm not sure about that. He'll be able to fill in more information there. But all I know is he's checking to make sure all the welds are secure. When do we install the pirate back on the stack? That is the real question. To which I don't know the answer, but I would hope soon. Very soon. All right, y'all. Stay tuned. Make sure to ring that notification bell so you're notified as soon as we go live again, hopefully with Tim. So we will see y'all in the next one.